Yes, hello. Can I ask who I'm speaking to?
Imran.
Hi, Imran. It's Mr. Hussain here. I'm looking to speak to Mr. Mulla.
Mr. Mulla is not available at the moment.
Oh dear, oh dear. When is he going to be available?
He's in a meeting. I don't know.
When did he go into the meeting?
To be honest with you, legal have sent an email around to say we're not allowed to communicate with you. So it's a case of you need to speak to legal.
Well, who do I need to speak to in legal?
I don't know. I don't know.
So basically, my brother's not having access to his money now, and we can't even speak to you now.
I don't know. You can take that with Mr. Mulla when he gets through to me.
Okay, all right. Well, let me speak to Mr. Mulla first. And you're saying you received an email today?
Yes, I've been informed today, so I don't know when that.
Okay, and your whole team have been advised not to speak to me.
Sorry.
Your whole team have been advised not to speak to me.
Well, you have to discuss that with Mr. Mulla.
Yeah, okay, I will do, because obviously the first thing I've done is I spoke to you earlier on today, didn't I? Asked you to put me through to Miss Vidanian,
Yes.
and all I've asked from Miss Vidanian is to give me your authority to letter stating that how you have managed to take control of my brother's finances, and then by discussing that matter, obviously no doubt Miss Vidanian has discussed that with legal, and they've advised her not to speak to me, in essence. So, as it presently stands, you can understand the precarious situation that you're now placing my brother into. Because, number one, he can't communicate with you. All right. He needs somebody to advocate on his behalf because of his health problems. All right. You've taken control of his money. He's got no means to get his money. And now we've got no means to talk to you.
Yeah, you have to take that with Mr. Muller.
Yes, and you're not even in a position to tell me whom in legal I need to speak to, because I'll speak to somebody, but they don't want to speak to me.
I don't know. I've just been instructed that, so nobody.
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, I would like to speak to Mr. Muller just to get to the bottom of this, because obviously there seems to be this, like, have you seen Deal or No Deal?
Yeah, I've seen.
The program, yeah, and there's this mysterious person called the banker whom Noel Edmonds is communicating with and saying, "Oh, he's going to accept the deal or no deal." It's a similar scenario where I'm speaking to speaking to me about some fictional entity called legal. Legal's not a person. Legal is not something that can make decisions. It's a person that makes those decisions, and that person is hiding behind this veil of legal, just like the actual person, decision makers, hiding behind this veil of being a banker, and the only person that can speak to him is Noel Edmonds, and the persons are having to make the decision regarding the boxes. It's a similar scenario, we're here, we need to speak directly to the decision maker, and they're saying, "Oh, legal's made a decision for you not to speak to us," and
If it makes the situation any better, I'm not a decision maker.
well, it doesn't. It doesn't make. I'm glad you're talking to me, Insan, because obviously I know you're not the decision maker, but the decision maker is quite clearly hiding behind the corporate veil. All right, and putting yourselves in front. And so, if I get angry and frustrated, and I vent my anger and frustration at you, which I'm not likely to do because we're on the level, but then that's going to be misconstrued as me being obstructive or me being X, Y, and Z. Yet the decision maker just sits behind the corporate veil making wrong decisions, and we're having to live with the effects of them.
I get you.
Yeah, and you're placed in front as to take on any backlash.
That's it.
Yeah, and so therefore, this is clearly this is clearly racism, all right. And just because you're being used as a Muslim or as an Asian to execute the racism does not mean it's not racism. Pardon?
I don't agree with you.
Okay, all right. You don't agree with me on what basis the decisions are racist. Okay, and and the very fact that you and Mr. Mulla have been fronted to liaise with me is racism. Why is the decision maker making these decisions and not looking to directly communicate with me? It's often the case that those people who are racist know the fact that they don't want to get caught out racist, so they utilize Asians and black people in order to execute their racism. This is a known fact. Do you understand? Some of the most, if you look at racism predominantly in America, some of the worst perpetrators of racism were other black people under the instructions of white people. All right. So similarly, in this scenario, I know dealing with the local authority that the decision makers are doing this because of racism. Pardon?
I hope you're not referring to me or as part of that category.
No, I think what you need to clearly understand, I don't consider that you're racist. Because obviously you can't be racist But I believe, and I am referring to yourself, that I believe that you are wittingly or unwittingly being utilized to express racism.
Not all, Mr. Said.
And how, if it was unwitting, how would you know?
I don't have any information. There's nothing that I can do for you to help you.
Okay, no problem. But obviously, you've advised me that legal have advised you, but you're not in a position to tell me whom in legal or whom I need to contact other than Mr. Mulla.
Done for you each time you called. Each time you called, any point you've made, I've noted it and passed it on.
Yeah, that's fine. And like I said, I don't have an issue with you, do I?
Conversations you've had with anyone or anything like that, but that's as far, obviously.
Yeah, I understand. Look, Imran, I don't have an issue with you, do I? And
Passing that on to Ismail and to Pat.
okay, yep. And I don't have an issue with you personally, but this is not a personal thing, is it?
No, of course not.
Okay, you're there to do a job. At the end of the day, you're going to finish at 5:30, go home, and you're going to get paid for your time. This conversation, you're going to get paid for. Yes, you're a professional doing a job.
That's why I give you the time, obviously.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, obviously. Well, thank you, Insan. But like, I'm frustrated because now legal have putting us in a further precarious situation where we're already in a precarious situation where I'm in essence, it's like a gagging order, isn't it? Told why should you not communicate with me? Have I been rude or disrespectful to you?
All I can really say to you is if you speak to Ismail and find out as to who you need to speak to in this whatever so-called legal department.
Yeah, because because Mr. Mulla has told me that it was Rachel Mann and when I've contacted her, it goes that she goes it wasn't me. I've then attempted to contact legal. They've wrote to me and advised me that it's Mr. Mulla you need to speak to. So when Mr. Mulla has told me no, it's not me, it's legal, I've sent him an email from legal from Marian Morahan in legal stating that I need to be speaking to Mr. Mulla. So that there is something not straightforward here.
He'll probably be able to tell.
Okay, and that's why I've called into this. So when can I speak to Mr. Mulla?
He's away from his desk. I know he's in a meeting, so I'm not sure.
Please, can you ask him to contact me urgently? Because obviously, you're saying that it's not racism, but clearly, my brother's not received his money. We're having a vehicle taken away from us. I mean, from where you are in your position in life or status in society, you're fully comfortable. You wouldn't see the racism firsthand. Whereas I am and where the position I find myself in, I'm experiencing racism, and having the effects of it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's like the difference that if in the American South, there's two type of niggers and Negroes. Niggers are field workers and Negroes are house niggers.
Put the phone down. No, I ain't listening to this. You get me?
What?
I've been fair with you. Don't come out with them short quotes. I know where you're going with it.
No. What? Why are you getting upset?
Like that. There's no need to talk to me like that.
No. What have I said to upset you?
It's really nice to you. Don't talk to me that manner.
Sorry, I fail to understand what I've said to you.
In that manner. Goodbye.
No. What have I said to you?